Good afternoon, everyone. This is the second session of Beers with Harry and Steve. We're pushing the boundaries of technology now because I'm dialing in from our HQ in London and Steve's in Greece. Having been at an event for the last day and been jumping around Europe. So, Steve, why don't you tell us a bit about what you've been up to?
Well, there was a few comments from last week that we didn't start drinking soon enough. So, cheers, everyone.
Cheers.
It's 2:30 here, but 12:30 in London. So I think Harry started a bit early.
Very bold. Yeah.
But yeah, no, I'm at a really cool sort of tech marketing conference out here in Athens called AtCom. AtCom Next. Got a really great keynote speaker called David Shing. He's an Aussie guy who is the digital prophet for AOL. He came across very well and also came up with some really interesting insights. One of them in particular was interesting around the Google Glass. And one of his theories was that that Google Glass was sort of developed by coders without the idea of actually thinking about the community and the actual effect that sort of intrusion would have, which is why he felt that it didn't necessarily succeed. He also came up with a thing which was interesting that particularly he didn't relate it to travel, but I related it to travel in that he talked about storytelling, and everyone talks about storytelling, but actually the focus should be the story and not the telling. So it should be the content of that story rather than sort of pushing the story onto people. And I think for travel bloggers, that's a really important piece because actually, and we work with a lot of travel bloggers, that they're so focused on the actual getting it out there, sometimes the actual quality of the story is missed. I know you had something about the Google Glass that you found out recently.
Yeah, so I was reading some articles the other day, and there's actually quite a few bars and restaurants across the United States that have actually completely banned Google Glass because they just say it intrudes too much and it's too antisocial and against what the bar and pub is trying to do. Because I suppose if you're wearing Google Glass, all the other people around you don't know if they're being recorded. And obviously that's quite off-putting. So in exactly the same way as you'd have a no smoking sign or a no under 18s, you actually have a no Google Glass or no recording devices.
No barebacks.
Sorry?
No Google Glass and no barebacks.
No barebacks. Yeah. No, I recently got my MCC associate membership through, and it was a very, very strict dress code. So no sleeveless vests, no tank tops at all. So.
You couldn't get in with that outfit, Harry. That's the truth.
No, strictly have to wear a tie. But it's very exciting. Very exciting to be going there this summer.
One of the other things that was very interesting that this guy said was that technology changes society, but it doesn't change humans' needs, which I think is very true. It's something that we've talked about a lot in Digital, in that obviously the way that people find a hotel or respond to a review or whatever it is different than it was 10 years ago. But actually, if hotels or restaurants really look after their customers, they will tell everyone, whatever medium they'll tell people on, whether it's Facebook or face-to-face. And I think that was a really poignant point for hotels and travel, is that I think a lot of people get scared about the technology, but it's the actual human interaction is very similar. So it should focus on that and then just embrace the different channels that you can communicate through.
Yeah. Our marketing manager, Josie, at the moment is writing a blog about social needs to be rethought, and actually it's purely a customer relationship management tool for many hotels. And actually, you've got guests checking in. You need to be wishing them a good stay and asking if you can help out through the social media channel rather than just having your reception desk. So I think that goes with your point.
Yeah, it's interesting. And yeah, and obviously I didn't want to talk about it, but obviously I was in Basel for the Liverpool game. Talk about a game.
How was that for you? How was that for you, Steve?
It was an amazing day. I have to say it was a really amazing day, but it finished badly. We had a terrible second half, and hence I've got no voice. First half cheering, second half screaming at the players to sort their stuff out. But yeah, the Swiss were so friendly. They were really helpful. Had a really good time, both in Zurich and in Basel. So obviously came over to Athens, had meetings all day yesterday with a potential partner over here, which is very exciting. Want to start working with hotels over in Greece and restaurants actually. We might be involved with a restaurant festival, which is really cool. And then obviously been at this conference all day, and then later, that's why I'm drinking Berlin beer. I'm flying to Liverpool via Berlin for a friend from university stag do. So I've embraced the whole of Europe from one end to the other this week.
Quite the traveller.
Quite the traveller.
Yeah, absolutely.
I've got to do an EasyJet Ryanair combo on the way back. So hopefully I'll make it to Liverpool before 7 o'clock tomorrow morning.
Yeah. Good. Well, just before we wrap things up from our short update from us here, we wanted to welcome two websites to our Umi family that we've launched in the last couple of weeks, or last few weeks. We've got the restaurantclub.com, which is a loyalty scheme for discerning diners all across London, where you can you buy a loyalty card, much like Taste Card, but it's actually targeting lovers of independent restaurants. So they've got discounts across loads of independent restaurants, all hand-picked, all fantastic quality restaurants, and you can sign up at therestaurantclub.com. There's a good offer running at the moment to get £10 off your loyalty card. It'll pay for itself in about 2 visits. So that's really good. That's one to check out. The second that we were really thrilled to launch is the Stafford London, the hotel in London, and that's so we've redone the site for them and seeing some really good results from that so far. So that's another one to check out.
Yeah, they're doing a very cool party for the Queen's 90th, where they're doing an outdoor party in their courtyard. So if you and obviously they're only a 5-minute walk to Buckingham Palace, so that should be a lot of fun. But yeah, I mean, we got a busy week next week, haven't we, Harry? Got a couple of scoping sessions. Oh, you're finally drinking the beer. I thought you'd forgotten about the beer.
I've been sipping away, nursing it. It's 12:30, Steve. 12:30.
It's 2:30 somewhere in the world.
Well, absolutely.
But yeah, no. Obviously, we've got some. Hopefully, our first restaurant on the 360 platform, which would be fun. But the other thing that we saw, remember we talked about, is that Robert De Niro's opening a hotel in Covent Garden. So it's interesting how celebrities are starting to get involved with the actual hotel part rather than just the restaurants, because he was involved with Nobu's originally. But that would be pretty cool.
We've had a bit of experience with hotel football as well. So I'd be interested. Wonder who else will open a hotel that's niche to their celebrity status.
Yeah, we'll see what happens with that. It's been very interesting, actually, quickly over in Greece, as everyone's talked about Brexit and whether people are interested in staying or going. I mean, Greece has its own issues with Europe, but obviously it's the other end of Europe from where we are, and they're very worried for the UK to leave, particularly the effect on tourism, which is one of their biggest industries here. So it's interesting that Brexit debate is now actually spreading around the world, which 6 months ago it wasn't, but now it is, and it's not far away. You know, end of June, we'll know our fate. So actually, if you could let us know what you think, particularly in the hotel industry in the UK, it'd be really fascinating to find out what people think about the whole Brexit debate, because I think it could be a game changer for the hospitality industry.
Absolutely. What does your gut say, Steve?
Mike, I'm having a lot of popcorn, so I won't tell you.
You've had a lot of popcorn.
Yeah.
Greek kebabs as well.
Yeah, I haven't had one yet. I might have to get one at the airport. But yeah,
very disciplined of you.
It is. That's why I look so thin. You can't tell obviously on this camera, but yeah. But no, in all seriousness, I mean, there's pros and cons, but I think if we can negotiate a better deal with Europe, I would rather us stay in. I think that's really what needs to happen. But it's caused a lot of uncertainty in especially currency markets. But even in America, they're kind of worried about how it's all going. So what about you?
Myself, I've been thus far. I've been quite pro-in, just because I think our city's hugely propped up by companies wanting this open market, and I think that particularly our capital city will be at a disadvantage if we weren't there. Of course, there's so many different factors, and I think it's very tricky for us as in this democracy that we have is we don't know all the facts. No one ever will, and it's not like voting for a government where you can see their policies, because there's a far higher level of uncertainty to it. In terms of the hospitality industry, I think we're seeing a huge number of European travellers, certainly in London. I don't think it will affect it hugely, but there may be added complications with with people just wanting to hop around Europe in exactly the same way that you have.
Yeah, and staffing could be an issue for a lot of London's restaurants and hotels. So
yeah, and we also, as Umi Digital, we're quite a flexible company, and we work with quite a few partners all across Europe. I don't know how the exact impact of how that will play out, but no. So I'm probably more leaning towards the inside at the moment.
Yeah. Well, on that very political note,
It was very political.
Have a very lovely weekend, and next week, Harry and I will be sat next to each other, being able to do this in locum rather than across the world. But it shows you the power of technology. Hopefully, hope you enjoyed it again. We had some really good feedback from last week's, and yeah, if there's anything you want us to discuss, let us know. As long as it's appropriate and nothing naughty.
Good. Well, have a safe trip, Steve.
Auf Wiener Schnitzel.
Auf Wiedersehen.